what's going on, guys? You are on the sidelines with the Sideline guys. I'm Derrick.
And I'm Chris. Welcome back, everybody.
Yes, sir. New week, new
Man,
segments. We're coming in hot.
playoffs.
Play.
It-
Oh,
It's
bro,
it's
I
what
have
a
a
time to be
lot.
alive.
Have a lot to say about the playoffs.
Man, it's gonna get hot in here. I'm surprised that Eagles helmet isn't spinning. There's a lot to be excited about for sure.
I told you, wherever we end, that's when it'll spin. Uh, I'm
I
gonna just
respect it.
wait. I'm gonna just wait.
I respect it for sure.
Yeah.
But I'm excited about this new segment,
Yes,
man.
sir. Yes,
I've
sir.
been trying to think of all kind of creative things to give you all of you guys, and this week, man, there's nothing more enticing than hunting these champions. So
Yes,
today
sir.
we're gonna be hunting for some belts, man.
Yes, sir.
The theme of this one is we're gonna be looking at all different kinds of sports, but the main idea is you have the opportunity and only one shot to send one guy in there to dethrone the champion, to beat the favorites
Yeah.
in one game. So it's all matchup based.
Okay.
So really excited to try to wrap our heads around defeating some of these giants. So let's get started right here in the NBA. So this one was a little bit difficult for me to wrap my mind around.
Uh-huh.
This was actually the last segments that I added in because I'm like, how do I even go? There's not a champion right now in the middle of the season.
Yeah.
So the
Was
way
a
I'm going
defending
about
champ.
this, exactly, there's a defending champ. That is true.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna add that. I don't even have that here, and that fits wonderfully because they are in a particular situation where they're not the number one seed. So
Oh.
the way this is legit at all, but they're close. They're close.
Yeah.
Don't
Oh yeah.
sleep.
Oh yeah. Not sleeping at all.
All right. So we're gonna be starting off in the good old Eastern Conference right now, as of we're dating ourselves a little bit here, but as of January 12th, the first seed in the East is the Chicago Bulls.
Yeah.
Now you have one game. You can only send one team in there to beat that team. Who are you picking?
To beating the Bulls. Uh, just one game.
For conversation's sake, let's keep it in the Eastern Conference.
It's a conference.
If you say the Celtics.
Well, I could, but I'm not going to. I'm gonna take the safer bet, and I'm gonna say the Nets.
Okay. Okay, I like
Yeah.
that. I
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah. You got Kyrie coming back, and he can play in Chicago.
Hmm. For
So
sure.
there you go. That's that'll be my pick.
Nice. I like it a lot. For me, I'm going a little bit of a different route. They're not in the exact playoff picture, but this team has the Bulls number, and that is the Miami Heat. Matchup
Mm,
wise, I think they match up very well with the Bulls, surprisingly, and they
yeah.
just clapped them for almost 30 the last
Yeah.
time they played. So
Yeah.
that's what I'm going with in this Eastern Conference.
Yeah. Because I want to go defensively because defensively I would take the Celtics.
Okay.
Defensively I would take the Celtics. Yeah, I just take a safe bet because Brooklyn's defense to me isn't the best,
For sure.
So, um, I'm more defensive minded. So, but I'll take the Nets because I think that if it's one game and you're playing in Chicago,
There's not one team that could get hotter than the Nets. I agree with that.
yeah.
Maybe in the league, honestly, you could argue that. Maybe in the league, there's not a team
Well, well,
on
well,
one night that could be
well,
hotter. I don't know.
well. Clay just came back.
Yes, but have you been watching?
Yes, he still has to get his wind up. He still got
For
his wind
sure.
up on
For
him,
sure.
get his legs and everything like that. But those set shots,
They're looking good. They're looking good. That form looks pretty as ever.
Clay, Steph, Wiggins, which is, I am. That's he's the surprise of the season, I think,
Hmm.
to a lot of people. If you paid attention last year, you can see that this is where he was headed. But I'm happy for him because It's been a couple of years,
He's one
but
of those guys that got written off really early.
yeah. Oh, he got yeah. Oh, yeah. By the time his stint in Minneapolis was over, that you could already tell that was it for him. But
Mhm.
yeah, I'm happy for him, man, because it looks like he's found his spot, found his role, and they need him for sure. So
Maple Jordan out there doing
yeah,
his damn
yeah,
thing.
Maple.
I
Yeah, but
love it. I love it.
I think that would be a team that would be able to go shot for shot for him though.
For sure, for sure.
Yeah,
But we're keeping it to the conference. So now we getting a little interesting here.
yeah,
Obviously, as of today, the number one seed in the West is the Phoenix Suns.
yeah.
So who are you going with?
Golden State.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Who else?
Literally, who else?
That's
There's some other enticing options. Like I was looking at streaks right now.
like what?
Mavs are figuring themselves out at this point in the season. I didn't expect them to have such a hard start to the season,
Yeah,
but they're figuring themselves out too. But I agree. I think nobody's really at that level. I don't even think you can make the argument for the Jazz either, even though record wise they're right up there with them.
yeah.
Um, I just feel like I don't know what it is about the Jazz. They're very consistent, but also consistent in falling short against those
Hmm.
juggernauts of the league.
Hmm.
So I agree. I
It
think
doesn't
I'll go
matter
with
who it
Golden State
is.
too. It literally,
Every
as
year.
long as you're good, they're gonna be having problems with you.
Yeah,
Literally,
yeah. Yeah, but I think again, like we said this before, but Golden State, Phoenix, that's the Western Conference Finals matchup. That's the only one I want to see. If
for
it's
sure.
anything else, I'm not sure that I'm gonna even watch it.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. It's gonna be tough for sure.
Yeah.
Oh man, exciting times. But now that you mentioned it, it's only right that we move on to the defending champions, the Milwaukee
Yes.
Bucks.
Yes.
So we could open this one up a little bit. It's not only just the Eastern Conference; it's the entire league. What team are you sending in there?
To defeat Milwaukee,
Mhm.
um, I'm gonna choose Phoenix. It's one game.
Yep.
I'm gonna choose Phoenix because, like I told you before, if Phoenix had JaVale McGee last year, they would have won that championship.
Hmm.
They would have won that championship because once what's his name? Their backup. I forgot his name, but um mm,
Are you talking about Milwaukee or are you talking about?
Sarge. He went down. He went
Mhm.
down during the finals, and then they had Frank. Was that Frank backing him up? I think, or he was out
Yeah.
with injury. I forgot who they had backing him up. But once you had once Aiton went out, you basically had no one there to stop the lane. So um if they had JaVale McGee, that'd have been it for them. They would have won
Yeah,
that championship.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it, but because of the history, I it's a pick I find hard to make, even with the changes.
Hmm.
I'm gonna piss you off right now, but guess what?
Please don't say the
I'm
Lakers.
picking. No, 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 no. Even better. I'm picking the Sixers. Matchup wise, there is no team
I'm not mad at that.
that has a deeper front court
Yeah.
than the Sixers, in my opinion,
Yeah.
especially defensively. So I
Yeah.
really like that matchup
I like that. Embiid versus Giannis. It's always a fun matchup. So yeah. No, I like that. I actually like that.
for sure.
Yeah.
Real quick, funny stat.
Hmm.
Western Conference, if you had to make a guess, who do you think is on the highest winning streak at this very moment?
In the West. I don't know. It's not the Lakers.
No, no, don't even. When you know, you're gonna be like, ah, I should have said that. Like it makes sense.
Is it Dallas?
No, they're on a very good streak as well, though. They're the third
Yeah,
highest in the league.
third in the league. Yeah, I don't know.
It's Memphis Grizzlies.
Bro, you know what? And
The
you know it's so weird. I keep because I'm thinking geographically. I keep
Mhm.
forgetting they are in the West. Like every time
Yep,
I'll think about the map. Of course they're in the West. I know they're in the West, but I don't even know why I wasn't thinking about Memphis.
that makes sense. Yeah, that
Yeah,
makes sense.
yeah,
I like it.
yeah.
And now, are
Ja's
you
going off.
ready? Yeah, literally, and taking it personal. He's out here
Oh
staring
yeah,
down children
yeah.
in the audience. You love to see it.
I'm not mad at that either.
Honestly, I think there hasn't been a player like him since D Rose.
I was
And
going to ask you about that because
mhm,
I was looking at him playing it last week, and I was like, his game reminds me of Rose so much.
and he can shoot like that. That's the
Yeah.
scary part. He could shoot the gym, like he could shoot
Oh
the lights out in the gym.
goodness.
So he's a scare. I mean, I don't even want to say this just because I feel like I'm putting an omen out there, but I just hope that he career wise can remain healthy.
Hmm.
Because that the level of athlete that he is, I think
Hmm.
he's on track to being one of the faces, if not the face of the league, in my opinion.
Yeah, oh yeah, he could definitely be one of them for sure.
Yeah. And now it's only right that I mentioned it. Eastern Conference. Who's on the best streak
Mhm.
right now?
Mm. I'm gonna have to just say, no, is it Chicago? I think it's Chicago.
No, sir. It is the 76ers.
Sixers.
And they are now in the fifth seed
They're
slot.
7-0,
So,
right?
yep, seven straight. Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
I
So
heard you see
I
that.
think the three are Memphis, the Sixers, and then the Mavericks. So
Okay.
interesting times, interesting times.
Yeah.
Good to see these teams, balancing out where we thought they would be,
Oh,
for
for
sure.
sure, for sure.
Anyway, now it's time to go hunt some belts in the NFL. So um it's only right. We're looking at our playoff picture. We're going to be getting to that very shortly, but
Yeah.
we got to go with first seeds here. We got to
Yep.
go with first seeds here. Right now, Titans in the AFC. Once again, we're restricted to the AFC. If you could only pick one team you could send in there, who you going with?
Right now, I want to say the Chiefs.
It's tough though.
I want to
It's
say,
tough.
yeah, and it's so weird because you should be able to say that with confidence, but it's kind of weird.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just go with the Chiefs because I think they're clicking. I far be it from me to say I don't know, but I'm just going to go with the Chiefs because I think this is very possible they would be able to do it.
For sure. I like that pick. I was this close to making it, but I can't because of how the season is ending up. Now I know they lost their last game, but they sat a lot of players.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going with the Bengals here. And I know that's a surprise. I know that, especially coming from me, but
No.
this team defensively is putting it together at a level that I didn't expect from them at all this year. Their defensive line has been exciting as of late and coming away with takeaways. So I'm really excited. I think that is a really scary matchup. I feel
Yeah.
like this is a hot take. I feel like if the Bengals beat the Raiders,
Mm-hmm.
they're on track to making the Super Bowl. And that sounds ridiculous.
That does sound
Ridiculous.
ridiculous.
But
Yeah.
matchup wise, I feel like the
Yeah.
Raiders are going to give them trouble in that first round. So I'm really interested to see how that plays out.
I want to change my answer to the Bengals. I
Oh,
would
I
because I
did
didn't
it.
think about the defense. Yeah. Yeah. That
I did it.
yeah. Give me the Bengals. I like that.
Yes, sir.
I
All
like that.
right. Now the juggernaut of the league at the moment, 13 and
Mhm.
3 is what they finished the season off as. We got the Packers in the NFC. Who are you going with?
Packers are the NFC. One game.
In one game.
Honestly, it's between the Eagles and Cowboys.
Wow. I didn't expect that.
Yeah, it's between those two. Um, because they're like the most healthy right now.
Yep.
So based off that and strengths of matchups, give me a coin toss between the two.
I like it. I like it. Let me write that out.
I'm gonna go with the Eagles. Bump it. I'm not splitting that. I'm gonna go with the Eagles.
Do it.
I got that
Do
much
it,
faith in them,
bro.
man.
Why not?
It's too much.
I
It's too
like it.
much faith in them. I'm loving it.
Dude,
They can run
we
the
don't got
ball
to
now.
talk about the Cowboys. They're going to lose to the Niners first round. They're going to lose to the
Again,
Niners first round, bro. We don't got nothing to worry
I
about.
actually think that's possible. I actually think that's
I don't
possible.
think it's possible. I think it's going to happen. I think it's going to happen. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll get to that later, though. We'll get to that.
Yeah,
We're the biggest Cowboys haters, though. Like, I feel like I'm tried all season. I'm like, let me try to balance this out a little bit. And no matter what, we're always...
you balanced it. You balanced it pretty well. Yeah.
But no matter what, we're always finding a way to hate on the Cowboys. And I mean, they do it to themselves. They do it to themselves.
That'll never change. That'll never change. Yeah.
Deservedly so. Yeah. For me, this was a hard one to pick too, because of the health aspect of it. For some reason, I don't know what it is. I feel like Aaron Rodgers has been plagued of late. I think there's a big storyline about that. Just things kind of seem to fall every direction but his when it comes to the postseason. I think if you had to give me one team, I'm going with the Rams, man. I'm going with the Rams.
That's not a bad one. Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know if you've heard, Eric Weddle is coming out of retirement to play for the Rams in the playoffs. I didn't know that was legal.
What? I didn't know that was even possible.
Yeah, me neither. Insane. Yo, and there was another.
How many guys should have done that?
Dude, they are the Miami Heat of the NFL. They're just picking up dudes like, and every time Jalen Ramsey's pointing out a tweet with that demon emoji, he's like, I got something coming. Yeah. And then we find out in a couple of hours that they just picked up some defensive stud that's just gonna be on their team for the rest of the season. Crazy. But I'm going with the Rams.
How is that possible to do that in the playoffs?
I don't know. I wonder if they were like, they had him under contract already and he just decided to come out. I don't know.
Bro, can you do that on Madden?
No, you can't. I don't know if it was a COVID thing. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but that came out this week. That came out this week. So I was really intrigued by that. So that solidified my pick here.
That's interesting. Okay.
All right. Now defending champs. They're in the mix. We didn't even talk about them when it came to the Packers, which is pretty surprising.
Yeah.
Tampa Bay Bucks. You got one opportunity. Anybody in the league. Who are you sending in there?
Anyone in the league?
That's still in the playoff picture.
That's still in the playoff picture. I think you want to choose one of the better defensive teams.
For sure.
Ooh. It could be NFC as well?
Yeah.
Or just AFC? I'm stuck between three teams right now. Bengals, Patriots, and Eagles. Actually, four, because the Cowboys defensively, like all four teams are really, really solid on defense. So, the better defensive rating for those four, would you say that's the Bengals?
Or yes, Patriots? But statistically, it might be the Patriots. I gotta look into that.
Because I'm leaning. I'm gonna go with one of those.
Yeah, you stole my thunder, man. I'm going with the Patriots as well. I think that's a matchup that we're probably not gonna see. Yeah. But I think there's a big storyline to be had there as far as scheming up against Tom Brady for Belichick. Yeah. I'll be really intrigued to watch that one. That we're ever gonna get it, but
yeah. I was about to say something, but I'm gonna wait till we get to.
Okay. Sounds good.
Yeah.
All right. So you're going with the Bengals or Patriots? Which one?
Give me the Bengals.
I like it.
Yeah.
All right. Now, here's where things get tricky. I will admit this is not an easy topic when it comes to MMA. There's so many people, so many things going on. If you need to look up the rankings, that's not illegal. You could get a better sense of who's where and what. We're going to be starting here in the women's 115-pound division. Our champion, Rose Namajunas. Who are we sending in there? Now, for me, this one was a little bit tough, but at the same time, not. Because not only is this the woman I'm picking to go in there and defeat Rose Namajunas, but this is her next title defense. I'm going with Carla Esparza. The reason being, they've already fought once. Carla Esparza became the inaugural strawweight champion by beating Rose Namajunas. Obviously, so much time has passed since then, and their games, both of them, have changed drastically. Right. I think there's a lot to be said about the improvement for Carla Esparza on the feet. And I think wrestling wise, there's not a woman in this division that is more capable to out wrestle anyone. So I'm going with the grappler, man. I got to pick Carla Esparza here.
Yeah, I think she would probably be the best bet too.
Mhm.
I don't know. I don't know if I'm putting my money on her though.
Mhm.
I don't
I feel
know,
you on that.
but I'm gonna go with the Sparza as well.
For sure. I think
Yeah.
it's easy to say Zhang Weili as well, because even though she lost both of those fights, the
Hmm.
second one was a lot more competitive than
That
anybody
was a
thought it would be.
competitive fight. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
But it's tough. It's tough to send one gal in there and send someone in there that's 0-2. So
Yeah.
definitely easy to make the Esparza pick here.
Yeah.
Next up, the 125-pound men's champion, Brandon Moreno. The only Mexican champion at the moment, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, this one was tough for me because he has a very tough title fight coming up in Davison Figueiredo. Obviously, they're the
Hmm.
trilogy. This is the third time they're fighting now. They're
Hmm.
split 1-1. Well, it's a draw in one.
Hmm.
But I would argue that Davison won that first fight.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah.
I think that was one of the worst scorecards of the year. I
I
think if
hated
you
that
look
was
back at that,
split. Yeah.
yeah, if you look back at that, I really feel like the judges really stole that win from Davison, and then we would never even be in this position.
Hmm.
But there's real things to be said about Moreno's growth. I'm not picking Davison. I think Davison's time in this weight class is done. I think
Hmm.
even if he wins the belt, he's going up to 135.
Yeah.
My pick here, the dark horse of the division, Ascar Askarov. He is, if I'm not mistaken, the only deaf fighter in the UFC at the moment. Not in history, but at the moment. Something to mention about him because I always
The only
find
what
his
now?
deaf. He cannot hear. So
Oh,
yes. So
wait, I didn't know that.
yes.
How does
So
that work with coaching during the match?
that's a great question. I'm sure that you can be considered legally deaf and be able to hear to a certain extent.
Okay.
I
Okay.
think he has recognition issues with the clapper. There's been a lot of times where you'll see the referee really needs to get in there to separate. I just love mentioning that about him because nobody knows that about him, but he's a
Yeah, I
very
didn't know that.
stoic, workman-like fighter, and I think in a lot of ways his disability works to his advantage in that way.
Yeah.
And grappling wise, I think he'll just dominate
Yeah.
anybody they'll put him up against. So I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to his next fight too. He's fighting another really sneaky dark horse contender in this division in Kai Kara France. Huge punching power. So
Hmm.
exciting times in the flyweight division. So my pick is Ascar Askarov. What about you?
I wanted to choose him, but I'm not. I'm gonna choose Davison just to go against, but
I just
Askarov
want
is
to
good.
say he has the best nickname hair combo of anyone in the UFC, like the God of War. He has the red stripe, like that
Yeah.
is legit. Like
Yeah.
you say what you want, gimmick infringement, like he made it his own. So
Hey, he
respect.
did. I love it.
And there's no one else like him in that division. Power wise, he's the
Yeah.
Yoel Romero of 125 pounds,
Yeah.
which is
No, I
funny to
love
say.
him. I love watching him fight. I love watching
Super
him fight.
exciting for
Yeah.
sure. This was the hardest one for me to answer, bro. I was struggling thinking about this one because it just speaks to her level of dominance.
Hmm.
Women's 125-pound champ Valentina Shevchenko.
Yeah.
Now, there were so many options that I could go with from this one. This one was the hardest for me to pick because not only is the person I'm gonna say not even in the title picture right now, but she's not fighting. Like
Yeah.
she's not even competing.
Yeah.
Um, but she did say when she comes back that she'll be fighting in this weight class. So I'm going with Tatiana Suarez, Olympic wrestler, something that not a lot of people talk about.
Hmm.
The only woman to literally out grapple Carla Esparza. Obviously, it was a weight class down, but she
Yeah.
was huge for that weight class. So I'm not surprised that she's moving up. I think matchup wise, that's the hardest matchup for Valentina in that division.
Yeah.
And you could even say Amanda Nunes is in that same vein, but Amanda's never going to 125. So that's the way I try to
She's
look at
not.
it. It
Yeah.
has to be for the title. So I'm going with Tatiana Suarez.
That's a really good choice. That's a good choice. I'm gonna just go ahead and say Andrade.
Okay, I like that.
I mean,
The puncher's chance.
Yeah, she's got a heart.
Bate Estaca. Her nickname is literally Pile Driver, which I find hilarious.
Yeah.
It fits.
I like her. I'll go with her, but I don't think she actually can beat Valentina for the title.
Yeah, for sure. We already saw her get destroyed, literally get destroyed. But I agree. I think coming into that fight, I thought it would be more compelling. So I get it 100%.
Yeah.
That speaks though how ahead she is of this division. That it's really hard to find somebody that you're confident sending in there against her.
Yeah. I would love Nunes.
Yeah, man.
I can't. She would be the one, but
I can't wait to get to that because she's still a champ. You can't forget that she's still a champ. So we're gonna be talking about her in a second as well.
Yeah.
Men's 135-pound division. Piotr Yan. This was another one that I struggled with, man. I was thinking about this for so long. It's hard to look around in the landscape of the division and really see someone that he hasn't fought yet, as well as someone who just you could see winning against him. Now this is going to be surprising, obviously, because he already lost, but I'm going with Jermaine Sterling. I think there's been a lot of talk about all these injuries that he had coming up to that first fight. And he literally was explaining with the next surgery that he got, he couldn't even fully close his hand.
Right.
So there was a lot going on structurally that I think changed the way he approached that fight. I think if he comes out more strategically the way he did against Corey Sandhagen, blitzing for the takedown, hunting the back, and really attacking the submission early, I really think he could surprise everyone and submit Peter Yan early. I think that's his only route to victory, though, in my opinion. So it needs to be early.
Let me ask you this: Are you saying Peter Yan as the champion because he's the interim?
Dude, yes, I am saying Peter Yan is the champion.
You're discounting Sterling as
1,000%. 1,000%. You can't. My reason for this is.
Is it because of the strike or?
It's because of the strike entirely, and it's my bias because I'm a huge Risen fan. Knees to the ground are legal in Risen, and you see guys take these shots all the time, and it isn't as immediately devastating as that shot appeared to be. Now, once again, I don't think he was out there blatantly lying or acting like everyone says he is. I don't believe that.
That was a connect.
He was concussed. Like you can see that 100%. But at the end of the day, if you watch that fight in the current state he was in, you cannot say that Yan wasn't en route to becoming the champion. So talent wise, I just feel like you have to give it up that way.
Okay. I'm going,
but I'm still giving him the respect. Giving him the respect.
And I'm flipping it. I'm saying that Sterling is a champ, and Yan is the only one that I think would be the one that I would send to fight him. But Sterling, I think I have a slight bias for him. I love his fighting style, right? But
me too.
He's also Jamaican. I gotta go with my brethren, so
I like it. I'm
going Sterling on that one.
The Funk Master, yeah. He needs to get a real gold chain, and then I'll respect it a little bit more. But I agree, man. I think even on the feet, he's very unique. Like there's not anybody that you could literally one of my favorite Roganisms, something that he always says on commentary. Like you could put a silhouette of Aljo fighting on the feet, and you'll know who it is, because he's just very unique in the way that he approaches it.
For sure.
And effective as well, which you love to see. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. All right, my favorite one, because this one is gonna be easy.
Yeah,
Juliana Pena, women's 135-pound champion. Who you sending in there?
Nunes. All day, every day. 10 times out of 10.
I'm not
really?
At all.
Really?
I am not at all.
Who you sending?
Valentina Shevchenko. And here's the reason.
What?
This is a matchup made in heaven. Let's not forget. Valentina Shevchenko used to fight at 135 pounds.
Yeah.
And en route to her title shot.
Though.
Yes, but champ wise, that's a discussion you can have. You can't have
Okay.
the Amanda
Okay.
Nunes going down to 125 discussion, but
Okay.
you can in theory see Valentina going back up to 135.
This like feels like
Now,
cheating, bro.
oh, I'm cheating here. I'm cheating. I said you could pick anyone. I said you could pick anyone.
Okay, I'm choosing within the division. That's why I'm saying.
Got
That's why
you.
I'm saying Nunes, but I get what
Okay,
you're saying. I get what you're saying.
got you. If I'm going in the division, is Nunes too.
Okay.
100%.
Okay. But
But
you're choosing Valentina.
I'm choosing Valentina. Yep.
I respect it. I respect it.
I mean, we've seen it happen already. She armbarred her. So
Yeah. Pena ain't got no chance.
I think I literally with either of these, but funny enough, I feel like if Valentina and Juliana fought 10 times parallel to Amanda Nunes and Juliana Pena fighting 10 times, I think Juliana wins more against Amanda Nunes than she does against
I would
Valentina.
agree with that. I would agree with that. Yeah.
It's all matchup wise.
Yeah.
All matchup wise.
Yeah. And also depending on the division you're talking about too, though.
I just want to say, man, you always try to humble yourself when it comes to MMA. You are not out of your depth at all. Like you got this, bro.
Oh,
just saying.
Yeah.
Because I literally, when I was thinking up this segment, I was like, should I offer some skips at the top for this one? Like, should I? No, you got this, bro.
Yeah, appreciate that.
All right. Next up, men's 145-pound division, Alexander Volkanovski.
Yes.
For me, man, this was the hardest one of I said this like 4 times already, but one of the hardest ones to think about because like literally I said this like 4 times. The reason why is I feel like more so than even any other division except for Valentina, it's hard to imagine anybody having success against him in any realm.
Yes.
The reason why I feel that way, obviously, he had those fights with Max Holloway. The second one, I thought Max Holloway won. So obviously Holloway is extremely the first person you think of when it comes to this list. I was thinking, let's go with a grappler here. But the reason why I don't like doing that is because we just saw him get out of some of the most deepest submissions against the best submission artists in this division. I'm going dark horse here.
Okay.
You're not going to expect this at all. And if he loses this upcoming fight he has in a week and a half, I'm going to look even more silly. But I'm going with Ilia Topuria. This is a guy who is coming up through the rankings very fast, who is a grappler first, which you don't see in his fights. In his fights, he's known for knocking guys out. He got a submission in his UFC debut, but since then it's been all striking. And I think he can give him trouble in every phase while also maintaining that same level of cardio, because you really need that against Volkanovski.
Right.
I think when it comes to the Max Holloway matchup, it's much easier to see a realm where Volkanovski has easy success on the ground. He wasn't able to get there, but I think in theory, you can see that playing out a little bit easier. So that's why I'm going with Ilia here.
Yeah, I'm taking a safe bet going to Holloway.
I like it. I like it.
I mean, he should have won that last fight. So I Holloway, yeah, I'm just going Holloway. I don't have to explain that one.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah.
And I love that a lot of these are literally the next matchups. Fortunately, Max Holloway got injured, so he got taken out of that spot. And the next title defense is going to be against the Korean Zombie. But nobody thinks Zombie has a chance in that one. So
no, we're still going to see the matchup. I Holloway's coming for it, and I can't see him losing it when he gets that
for
chance,
sure.
Yeah.
And that's why, honestly, out of all the divisions in MMA right now, men's featherweight is the most intriguing to me because you literally have 2 guys that you can consider the GOAT of that division.
For sure.
And in their peak, in their prime, I wouldn't mind if they fought 8 times, if you ask me. But
I mean, I look, at this point, I'd say just throw out the process and just let them go. Let's see it once or twice a year.
Just run it out.
Let's run it. Yeah,
it'll sell.
It. Yeah. Oh,
it'll sell no matter what.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Especially if it's always a split.
Legit.
Yeah.
All right. So next up, this one is easy, but in the way that doesn't make any sense. Amanda Nunes, 145 pounds.
Yes.
This division does not exist.
No.
Can we start there? So because of that,
Yeah.
We have to consider our options here. Now,
Okay.
the only person that I would ever, at this weight class specifically, consider is Kayla Harrison. Now, Kayla Harrison is a dominant champion in PFL. I don't think she makes the move to the UFC, so I don't know if we get to see this. But if I had one person to pick, they train in the same gym. There's stories about how those training sessions go. So I'm going with Kayla Harrison here.
I don't know much about Harrison. I don't know her at all, so I can't say even much. But I'm gonna be completely honest. I don't see anyone touching Amanda. I don't. There's not one person I would send to go.
Yeah,
or a woman. That's not one person. I'm
gonna
to go
put
fight Amanda.
I'm gonna put the Grim Reaper. That's who Derek's sending in there. The Angel of Death.
Yeah,
literally.
and Death might lose. So I
Brutally.
don't know.
Brutally, I might add.
I don't know. Yeah.
Listen, let me pump up Kayla Harrison real quick. If you ever get the chance, please check out her PFL run. She is somebody who is the most decorated Olympic athlete that ever competed in MMA. She won 2. Now listen to this. Ronda Rousey became an international superstar because of her Olympic pedigree, but she was a bronze medalist in judo.
Yeah.
Kayla Harrison is a 2-time gold medalist in judo.
Oh, wow.
And that grappling pedigree translates on a whole nother level when you mix those skills at American Top Team. She's dangerous on the feet now. And she's fighting women at 155 pounds and nobody's touching her. So
okay.
That's the only reason I find this super compelling. I'm so mad my doc just timed out, but thankfully we got it all up right here. So next up, men's lightweight.
Yes.
Charles Oliveira, Chucky Olives, the underdog himself.
Yes.
I think this one was literally the easiest one.
Yes, it is.
Islam Makhachev, right?
Okay, so now it's not easy.
Ooh. I can't wait to hear what you think.
I actually think Gaethje has what it takes.
I like it.
I think he has what it takes. I didn't think about Makhachev though, and I see why you say Makhachev because that,
matchup wise, it's tough. I feel like the only thing that scares me is I've seen Gaethje gas many times, and that's in wars. And in against Charles Oliveira, you're gonna end up in a war. Whether you think you're winning or not, you think you're winning until you're not. So I think that's a big problem in this fight.
You know what? Because of the gas tank, I'm gonna say Makhachev too.
Yeah.
That's a great point because we saw him like wear Poirier right down, like
literally.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you remember this, we saw Poirier wear out Gaethje in that same way,
right,
across 5 rounds.
That's right.
So that's always something that sticks in my mind, especially although it's one of the best fighters in UFC, if you ask me.
And but takes it. No problem.
Like nobody else, man. God bless him, because I'm gonna say this. I know people don't like to hear this, but if you ask me if there's any fighter that's exhibiting signs of CTE right now, it's Justin Gaethje. And God bless him, he changed his style. So it's not as face forward as it used to be, because it used to be worse. And you can't even imagine that. But that Michael Johnson fight, literally, that fight gives me nightmares. And because Todd Grisham was commentary on that one, like it changes the whole like memory. Like that was one of the most chaotic fights I've ever seen in my life. So
BJ Penn is another, man. BJ Penn is another. I've been worrying about him for a while, and I think Chuck Liddell might be a little up there too. He just got arrested, I think, for domestic abuse or something like that.
Turns out it was actually his partner, and they ended up taking him. He filed for divorce. So
I didn't know that.
That was something that when I read the headlines on, I thought the same exact thing, but no, it was the other way around. So surprising.
Okay,
that made me feel good. But I agree. But both of those guys are retired. Or BJ Penn should be retired. Active. Yeah, that's tough. Wish him nothing but the best, of course.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah, man, that guy's running for governor in Hawaii. Did you hear about that?
Who?
BJ Penn.
For what? oh,
Oh
oh,
man.
are you serious?
Yeah, man. I'm telling you, everyone rallies
Wow.
around a sports athlete, man. You'll be
Oh yeah, because you
surprised.
got Pacquiao, but Pacquiao's been in the political arena for a while.
Sphere,
Yeah,
literally.
he knows what he's doing with that. So,
And you know
but
what's the
that's
most
interesting.
brain dead thing about it? His entire campaign is based about how lockdowns and all the protocols for COVID need to be seized immediately. Open it all up. And that's it. That's
That's
his
his
stance.
take.
So yeah, that's
Yeah,
why and it's getting
on an
traction.
island, on an
It's getting
island. That's
traction.
great. Yeah,
Hard to see, hard to believe, man. Hard
yeah.
to believe. If BJ Penn ends up governor, just know there's gonna be stories of him still beating up random old dudes at the lava shack and fighting random people in bars as governor.
I wouldn't be surprised
And
if within his cabinet you see him
brawls
go.
at the branch
Yeah.
3. Just every week you get to fight one of your Congress members.
Going
Hilarious.
at his secretary or something.
Poor BJ Penn.
Oh my
But let's
god.
get back on track here. We got a
So
couple left here. Um, Kamaru Usman, men's 170 pounds. Tough one. Tough one. Now, you could go a lot of different ways with this one. I know the sexy option is Khamzat Chimaev, but I'm not falling for it. I think the hardest matchup in this division for Kamaru is Vicente Luque, and I stand by that. I think his willingness now, especially to stay on the feet,
yeah.
if he ends up in a position where he's trading with Luque, Luque has deceptive power. Like
Mm-hmm.
he has shocking
Mm-hmm.
power that you
Mm-hmm.
see when it lands, guys are like, "Oh shit."
Mm-hmm.
And I think he could force him into grappling in a way that nobody else in this division can. So that's what I'm going with this one.
Um, I really don't know who I would choose.
It's tough.
Gilbert Burns, I think if he had the, let me put it like this, I think he's had the opportunity to learn from that fight with Usman. Um, can I, would I be willing to put my money on Burns? Is the question, and I
Yeah.
don't think that's possible.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna go with Luque as well. Excuse me, but I don't know. Muhammad might have a shot.
Not
Might have
at
a
all.
shot. He might,
Not at
but
all.
Luque, I would be willing to put money that he would have a better shot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Let me just put it
And
like that.
it's the
But I don't think anyone's
multifaceted.
taking him.
There's nobody with a submission game and striking like that in that division.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
even more so than Burns. I think if Burns and Luque were to fight, I think it's clear that Luque has that one.
I'm shocked that Kobe Covington is still ranked 1.
Yes, me too. I think it's a activity thing. I think
Okay, okay,
Luque is not fighting right now.
okay.
They want Khamzat to be that number one contender so bad. I think
Yeah,
they're gonna wait to see how that Masvidal fight plays out to try to move him at all in the rankings.
yeah. I don't get that. And then they just announced what's yesterday or today that
Yep.
Masvidal Covington are fighting in March.
Hmm.
That's going to be the battle of the losers. That's the first thing that came to my mind when I saw that. But
Yeah.
I'm
And
looking
the
forward to that.
biggest kayfabe match I've ever heard of. Like
Yeah,
they act like they don't like each other. I honestly
they
think
love
they're
each other.
still cool as fuck. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I think that's
yeah,
all fake.
yeah, for sure.
But that fight is gonna be absolute trash. Like it's gonna be a
Oh yeah, it's
it's
gonna be a
gonna be a
great build up
grapple
though.
fest.
It's gonna
Yeah,
be a
yeah,
great build up. But yeah, I'm not. I don't know if I'm watching that. I hope
yeah.
that's not.
Yeah, yeah.
Is that the headline?
That's the headliner, and they're rumoring that the co-main event is gonna be Nate Diaz versus Dustin Poirier. Now you might have to watch.
I'll
You might have to
watch.
watch
I'll
now.
watch. Now I'll watch. I'll watch, but I'm not looking forward to it. Let me put it
You'll
like that.
let yourself nod out in the main event. How about that? Yeah.
I just want to see who's gonna get knocked out.
Yeah. Yeah, for
And
sure.
I think Masvidal is going to take. I think he's going to handle Covington.
Really?
I do.
Really?
I do.
Wow.
Because the way this, I forgot who was commenting, doing commentary on the Usman Covington 2, but they said that if, it may have been Joe Rogan, but They said that between the first fight and that second fight, Usman went up, and Covington wasn't even fighting. Like we didn't know how he was gonna look, and I'm slick thinking that's gonna be the same thing with Masvidal and Covington. The way that Masvidal looked going against Usman, I think he'll look. I think he'll look a little bit better against Covington. Covington, I don't think he's expanded his skill set to overtake Masvidal. I'll put it like that.
I like that. I think Masvidal's defensive wrestling is very underrated.
Yes.
My issue with the pick is in order for Masvidal to have any sort of success on the feet, he needs to be the aggressor in this later term of his career. And I think against Colby, there's going to be flurries of strikes coming at him every time he tries to step forward. And it's not even like he wants to try to hit him. Like he's just going to be throwing volume. And as soon as he tries to match that volume, he's going to duck in for a takedown. And that's why I think this is going to be a boring fight.
It's going to be boring for sure.
Literally.
I think Masvidal will be.
I hope Masvidal sends him to hell, but I doubt it's happening. I doubt it's happening.
Yeah.
All right. So 185 pounds, Israel Adesanya. This one's good, man. I'm excited about this one. You want to take the lead on this one?
I can, but I don't think there's anybody in this division I'm putting my money on outside of Whitaker. Like Whitaker, and they're about to when's that fight?
I think it's in either March or April.
Okay. Yeah. I don't think Whitaker's winning that fight. I'm gonna just put that out there. Adesanya is just on another level, and he's another one that every time he fights, he gets a little better. And I don't see him losing. I don't see him losing to Whitaker. I almost feel like what we saw the first time is just like a little taste of what we're gonna see this next fight. Because I think Adesanya is gonna pick him apart royally.
Man, I'm gonna surprise you. I'm gonna surprise you. Yeah, I agree. I think Whitaker is a great fighter, man. He's super underrated. Especially because he lost in the fashion that he did at home. Like I feel like he just got entirely like his entire title reign got counted out. But nobody fought Yoel Romero the way he did twice. He stood toe to toe with Yoel Romero for 50 minutes, which I would imagine took a couple of years off his life. But literally I'm very high on Whitaker. I honestly think that because this rematch is in neutral territory, it's going to be in Houston, I believe. I'm 100% confident that Whitaker's going to win. Like, and the funniest part is, I'm not even picking him as the guy that I'm sending in there to beat Adesanya. The guy that I'm sending, yes, and I think he's gonna lose to Whitaker. If I had one night and one guy, I'm sending in someone that's not even in the top 10 right now. And that man's name is Nassourdine Imavov. Now, nobody knows who the fuck I'm talking about right now, and that's fine with me.
I do.
This is someone who is out of that same camp as Cyril Gane. This is someone who's has the same technical level striking as Adesanya, if you ask me. He's very, very good at moving out, circling away, and staying defensively minded on the feet. But where the difference is, he has developed his grappling in a way that I did not expect at all. He dominated Edmund Shabazian in his last fight, finished him via elbows in the crucifix. That's a position you don't get to unless you're a dominant grappler.
Yes.
I think
you don't see it a lot.
Exactly. And I think the reason why it makes him more of an intriguing matchup than Whitaker is because on the feet, Israel has Robert's number.
Yes.
You can't argue that.
Yes.
Especially because Whitaker's the kind of guy that wants to lead. I think we saw this with Jan Blachowicz. If you can fight on your back foot against Adesanya, it gives him trouble because he wants guys to be pressuring him. He's a great counter fighter. I think Nassourdine can keep him on the outside, play those games with him, not get hurt, and find a way to get that takedown later on in the fight. So super dark horse pick there, but that's what
Let
I'm
me ask
going
you
with.
this: who has the better reach? Because I don't know.
Between him and Adesanya, it's still Adesanya. Adesanya
Okay,
has a historical reach for this division.
that's the reason why I think most of his opponents don't have a shot
Mm-hmm. Yep.
because he can stick and move, and that's just it. Like you can't
Mm-hmm.
do anything with him. You can't get into his guard
Yeah.
unless you're able to try and take him down. But even when he's on the ground, he just finds a way. He just finds a
Mm-hmm.
way. So I can't I can't speak on who you're talking about. Because I don't know him. I may have seen him fight, but I don't know him by name.
Trust
Um,
me. It's a name to remember. Trust me.
okay.
That France connection, it's so surprising. And this is why we messed up entirely. But next year we're doing coach of the year because I would have
Yes.
also gave that to Fernand Lopez
Okay.
because this is a country where MMA is illegal
Yeah,
and
yeah,
he's
yeah, yeah.
producing top level fighters on
Yeah.
an international global level. He has guys coming up on the regional scene in Europe. Taylor Lapilus is one that comes to mind. That's
Mm-hmm.
he's been on the UFC radar for years.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just really high on that camp. And
Okay.
when I saw that development in Imavov against Shabazian, I was like, I'm all in. If there's
Yeah.
anybody I'm picking, it's him. And it's not the sexy pick,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah. I feel you on
I
that one.
like it.
I like that though. I like that though. I gotta
All
look into
right.
him.
Yeah, I went deep with that one.
You did.
Next up, um, old man Glover Teixeira, man. I
Yeah.
cannot believe Boxcar Homer himself found his way to become the champ
I'm
because no
happy for him.
matter what fight it is, no matter what division it is,
Mm-hmm.
this man gets his ass kicked for at least 3 minutes.
Yeah.
And then he comes back and submits you like in the most old man game way possible.
Yeah.
Um, there's a lot of people that I would pick
Yeah.
to beat Glover Teixeira,
Yeah.
which is what made his title run even more impressive, if you ask me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going with another dark horse here. I know you're probably going to think my immediate pick was Yuri Prohachka,
No.
which is the sexy pick. Oh, I like that. I
No.
like that. You're a veteran. You see,
Yeah.
I'm never doubting you again, brother. My pick in this division is Magomed Ankaliev. This is
Okay.
somebody
Okay.
who not many people know of. He looks exactly like Mose from The Office. That's a deep cut if you ever heard one. He looks exactly like him.
Yo, I love Mose, man.
What a legend. Just
Yeah.
just holding it down at Troop Farms.
Yeah.
This guy is non-remarkable. And the reason why I say that is even when you watch his earlier fights in the UFC,
Mm-hmm.
he's finishing dudes, and it's not even like this is gonna sound stupid, but it's not even like it makes sense. Like you're
Yeah, yeah,
watching and
yeah.
the way he looks, his demeanor does not match his skill set whatsoever. He has one of the few front kick knockouts in UFC history, where he just blasted this guy with a front kick to the chin, and I couldn't believe it. Like I was watching the fight and I didn't see it. So when I was watching the replay, I'm like, what happened? And then you see the foot come up,
Yeah.
crescent kick style. I'm going with my Ankalaev because I think if there's I'm gonna hold that conversation for another day. But if
Okay.
there's anybody that I think I would favor in this division, not a heavyweight, but in 205 to
Mm-hmm.
beat John Jones,
Mm.
It's Magomed Ankalaev. So that's my pick.
Oh, now that's nice. That's nice. I'm going with someone else.
Okay.
I'm actually going with Anthony Smith.
Wow, really?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm impressed with him because he's another one that um bit older, but I would say the last 2 years, 2 or 3 years, he seems to just like reinvent his style. Um, and I don't think it's gonna take much to beat Glover. As much like I hate saying that because that sounds
Hmm.
so disrespectful, but I think Anthony Smith could take him for sure. If I'm putting
Dude,
money on it, if I'm putting money on it, I think Smith. You have other safer bets for sure, but I think just to go a
I
little,
like the return on that bet too, man. And
yeah,
I don't know if you know this, but they fought already. And in the first 3 rounds, Anthony Smith is on fire, just
yeah,
lighting him up.
yeah,
Over 110 strikes, I think, before the third round started. landed by Anthony Smith, almost finished him multiple times, and then got drug into deep waters and literally mauled so badly that on national TV he looked at his coach and he said, "My teeth are falling out."
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was a tough one. So
Yeah,
I,
but
I think
he's improved since that fight though.
I agree. And
He's
you
improved.
can't look at those first 3 rounds and say there wasn't a moment where the fight could have been stopped. Like they could have stopped that fight multiple times, and fatigue became the ultimate factor that really turned the tide.
Let me ask a quick question. Was Herb Dean the ref in that fight?
You know Herb Dean was the ref of that fight.
I'm getting so tired of this dude, man. Like I love Herb. I love him. But I'm getting tired of him.
Yep.
I'm getting tired of him because he's costing a lot of guys not only like matches, but it seems like he's also like costing them careers in terms of like specific shots not being called in terms of like either for I'm sorry, like an eye poke or even just to say, hey, like fight's over.
Literally.
Fight's over. Like that's it. He's costing a lot of guys. And like I love him. But Jesus Christ, he needs to go.
Literally, man. I agree with this sentiment 1,000%. Like he is the ultimate like veteran pick where everyone is just like he's the best because he's been here so long.
Yeah. But I like John. I like Big John.
Yeah, man, me too. It sucks that he retired, man.
Yeah.
I think he was the gold standard for sure. That was the original OG.
Yeah.
It's so fun watching back these old events because literally it's only Big John. Like that's the only ref. But I think right now, just to name a couple, Jason Herzog, Mark Goddard, all of these guys are better referees than Herb Dean.
Yeah, I think it's time for Herb to go.
And the problem with Herb isn't even that he it isn't that he makes the wrong decision. Most of the time he makes the right decision. It's the indecision leading up to making the decision. You see it all the time, man. He just hesitates. He touches guys and then lets the fight continue. One really egregious one was that Amanda Hebos one, where she basically got knocked out like twice because he stopped Marina Rodriguez. He literally touched her, separated them, and then said, what do you mean? Keep going. And then she got knocked out again. So yeah, I agree with that 100%. That was tough to watch. And if it was any other ref that night, Anthony Smith probably would have won by TKO. But that's not the world we lived in.
Yeah, you can almost hear like people in the crowd or even like their own fighters coaching staff throw the damn towel.
Oh man, I if there's a culture that needs to change, it's the MMA culture.
Yeah, it's time. It's time. I love her, but he's got to go.
And I think the sad part about it is because of comebacks like Glover Teixeira against Anthony Smith, everyone always says you can't rob them of that opportunity, which in my opinion is so dumb. Like you're costing these guys years on their lives.
Man. Yeah, so far and few between in terms of like whether we see that often or we see someone like it's just they're done.
And not only are the chances slim, but even if you do come back, you're still taking an astronomical amount of brain trauma.
Sure.
So
for sure.
What is the opportunity here?
You can't be saying you're protecting fighters and trying to lengthen their careers when you're allowing a ref that does this time and time again. Like it'd be fine, not fine, but it'd be a much better argument to keep them if here, a little there. You know, it's just every once in a while that happens. This happens almost every fight he refs.
Literally, and there's multiple fights you can point to, which is so tough.
Yeah. So sorry for the sidebar, but yeah.
I love it, dude. I love it. Next up, Francis Ngannou, the Iron Man himself. Another guy you could think of a fight where Herb Dean stopped the fight too damn late.
Yes.
Against Stipe.
Yes.
It's tough to see that every time I watch. Literally, I retweeted that the other day. That angle specifically, terrifying stuff.
Yeah.
I struggled with this one. There's a lot of options that seem to be obvious, but when I remember the context that I got one night to send one guy in there, and I'm betting everything on it, I know I'm huge on Cyril Gahn, so this is gonna be surprising to people. Um, but I think the nightmare matchup in this division is the KO King himself, Derek Lewis. And nobody, everyone's like, no, don't make that fight. No. The
Yeah,
first one was one of the worst fights in UFC history.
yeah.
But I don't anticipate that happening again. And if you're in a fight with Derek Lewis and you cannot grapple,
Hmm.
I don't care if you are the biggest knockout artist we've ever seen in the UFC.
Hmm.
There's something about the attritive nature of Derek Lewis that I really feel like could wear down a guy like Ngannou. So that would be my pick if I had one person to send in there.
I love Lewis too, because he'd be a pick I would choose. But I think I might actually take Miocic.
Nice, I
I
like it.
think I might take Miocic over him just slightly, but because I mean, yeah, with Lewis, you can count on that power, but
Mhm.
Miocic has a little more technique under his belt that I think Lewis can actually get there, but it's going to take a little more time for him to get there. And we're talking about right now. I'm going to take Miocic over Lewis right now.
Yeah, man, I like that a lot.
Yeah,
It's always tough to think of rematches like that to be like,
yeah,
yeah, I got him after he just lost.
yeah.
But I agree. I feel like in the bigger cage, like in
Mm.
the 30 footer, I think that fight goes differently each
Oh, for
time. So,
sure, for sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
mhm.
yeah, yeah.
All right, man, we're wrapped up here. This was really
Yes,
fun,
sir.
dude. Like
Oh, this
this
was
was really fun.
that was a great great segment, and I'm glad that we were able to get that one going.